I hate that shit. I'm going to tell you this little story. I have 2 kids. I have a 10-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. My 10-year-old's a sweetheart. They're both girls, which means I'm screwed later. She's a sweetheart. She's very caring. She just loves everybody. She wants to be everybody's friend, and something's going on she wants to be there for. Now my 5-year-old, my 10-year-old's like her mother before she went crazy. And my 5-year-old is like me. She's an asshole. And what I mean by that is, as we heard tonight on the stage, we talked about kids being smartasses, right? For some reason, I find out that a 5-year-old little girl is more of a smartass than me. And so we're driving in the car, and her name is Hannah, and my oldest's name is Haley, and Haley's in 4th grade. She just finished. She'll be in 5th grade, which is ridiculous. And we're driving in the car, and all of a sudden, Hannah and I, we're having a normal conversation like we always do, and she says, yeah, she talks about the weirdest things. And she's like, yeah, I peed out of my butt. So what? And I was like, you did what? And she's like, yeah, I peed out of my butt. My front butt. Like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, you are not allowed to hang out with your mom. No. And she's like, yeah, my front butt goes from the back to the front. That's my front butt. And I said, Hannah, do you know what that's called? Serious? This could be, it looks me in my eyes. Yes, front butt. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, so we don't call it anything else. It's called your front butt. She's like, yes, it's my front butt. And at this point, she's over this conversation, like, shut up, Dad. It's front butt. Let's move on. And we're almost to Haley's school. And I said, when we get to Haley, let's ask her what it is. And she's like, fine. She'll say front butt. So we pick her up. We get in the car, the typical stuff when you see your kids. How was your day? That kind of a thing. And we're driving down the road. And I said, Haley, I have a question for you. And remember, she's she's not like that. And I said, Haley, what is your private area called? And she's all looking at me like almost like, is this a trick question? I'm like, no, what is it called? Hannah thinks it's called a front butt. And she starts laughing. She's like, yeah, it's front butt. And she's like, I'm like, Haley, do you know what it is? And she's all uncomfortable looking, and I said, it's called a vagina. And she's all like, okay. And Hannah's like, front butt in the back. And I said, some people will also call it a vajayjay. And when I said that, my 5-year-old, who sits in, I have a piece of shit Taurus, bought it for $700, and she has to sit her little diva ass in the middle of the seat. So she can't go on the left side, she can't go on the right side, it has to be in the middle because the sun might hit her eyes. And so when I said vajayjay, it's almost like she knew that word. She starts dancing, and she's sitting and dancing, going, vajayjay, vajayjay. And she's just rolling with it, right? And Haley's all looking at me. I'm laughing. How can you not laugh at a 5-year-old dancing a vajayjay? And I'm looking at Haley, and I'm like, this is crazy. And she's like, I'm not comfortable with this. But it was just wonderful. 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, we go to the park, as we often do. Sometimes by ourselves, sometimes with crazy friends, whatever ends up happening. And so we're at the park, and we first get there, and Haley's like, I'm going to go use the bathroom because we're after school. I'm like, okay, we'll be over here. We'll be over in this area. Come find us. She's like, awesome. So we're walking. Hannah sprints when she's out of the car. She's already on those one little turtle things, right? And she's just riding it, right? And then there's another turtle, and there's like a duck, and there's a boy and the duck, and another turtle the girl's on, and Hannah wants to make it a competition who can go faster, so they're all going pretty fast. And I go and I sit my ass on the bleachers, where I'm kind of, close so I can keep my eye on. And at that time, I want to play with my phone. I want to just pretend I'm not there. And all of a sudden, this little boy falls down, and he's screaming bloody murder. And I kind of look up because, a kid's screaming. You kind of pay attention no matter if it's your kid or not, unless you're heartless. And I look up, and this boy is screaming, and his mom is kind of coming to him like, oh, you're okay. And Hannah stops immediately and gets up And she looks at this boy. She looks up at me. And she says, what's wrong? And he's like, he's crying. And she's like, did you hurt your vajayjay? Instantly, I'm sitting there because now I'm the bad parent. Because I'm sitting there and I'm on bleachers and I look up immediately and I'm like, oh shit. So I get up and I'm kind of pacing back and forth. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of freaking out like, oh shit, how am I supposed to get myself out of this situation? I'm going to stop you for a minute in that story. How many times have you seen those NFL commercials as want to get away? Anybody see those?
Yeah.
Okay, this is that scenario. We couldn't get away. So we're in that situation. I got 2 or 3 parents looking up at me like, I cannot believe you're teaching your daughter that. I'm like, yeah, my bad. And at that point, here comes Haley. And Haley is ready to go on the swings or whatever the hell she wants. And I just want to get the hell out of there. She comes running up. And at that point, I grab Hannah's hand. And we're walking to the car. I grab Haley's hand. And anybody have a 10-year-old little girl knows that they don't like to hold the hands of their dad if there's other people around. So she's already squirming. And she's like, why do we have to leave? I'm like, let's just go. I'll talk about it in the car. Let's just go. We'll talk about it in the car. So I'm walking. Hannah to my left. Haley to my right. Haley looks in front of me and says to Hannah, why are we leaving? And she looks, because that boy hurt his vajayjay. And he walked away. Well, that's all I got for you tonight. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next month.